Did you see my truck?
Yeah, I
did. Gas guzzler.
The gas guzzler.
Ooh. Yeah, it's a Hemi. I wanted to get one of those stickers that says, "Yeah, it's a Hemi," and put it on a Dodge Neon. Denver Broncos Mile High View, no commercials, no bullshit. We do all the bullshit talking off camera. Let me just ask you this question right off the bat. Does Mile High Bubble get anything right? I mean, if I remember, they had put out that this Walton character was least likely to become owner. Is there anything that these guys can actually get right?
No.
So how can I believe honestly, anything that's coming out of this Denver PR machine? How can I even trust it? How? Just a question.
Well, I mean, to answer your question, you must be really not micromanaged, mind fucked to go into that stuff. I don't really want to, say that towards a lot of fans, but a majority of the Bronco fans and what Dove Valley puts out there is to mind fuck you. And I think people are so entranced because they've been fed the same bullshit for the past 7 to 8 years that that their mind and they're more comfortable going to those channels than what the counter narrative like me, you, Colby Sports, Mile High 6, the list goes on about people that understand what's going on with this
reality. Understand reality.
Yes.
I know. I just couldn't believe the comments on your Draymond Jones. It's like if you don't really know what you're talking about, just grab a clip, just grab a section of video and say, no, you're lying eyes. You're lying eyes. Don't believe your lying eyes.
Well, they're trained to defend bad players, and Draymond Jones.
Yes, we're in a culture of defending bad players. I know. And when this season, the reality of the player personnel once again reveals itself. I think you even saw Justin Simmons yet again getting burned in OTAs and shorts. Granted, but he's not really trying. Okay, well then don't tell us how wonderful Russell Wilson's doing then if the defense isn't even trying. Okay, just don't.
You would think that your highest paid player on defense would actually not be the one that gets beats over the top consistently. You would probably be more of a rookie or an undrafted player.
Yeah, in Twitter videos. I know. But it's gonna rear its ugly head. So the Broncos got a brand new owner. We have hopes and we have fears. Hopes is that there's accountability. That's the big takeaway today's video. It is accountability. No more PR media bullshit on a player personnel that can't cut the mustard. The people that have put this together, this whole Russell Wilson experiment goes like everything else. Absolutely, this channel is absolutely not holding Russell Wilson accountable. We're going to hold the organization that put player personnel around him accountable. And if we do it if this is the 7th season of muckety muck, but it's 9-8. We got 9-8. Okay, that may give you one more year, maybe. But eventually it's like I said, this is all going to come back on the Broncos, that PR machine. And the owner's going to have to make some real changes. Say, for the last 7 years, you people who've not been held accountable, you've got to go. And we got to start doing this thing the right way. Now, that's the best case scenario. If, worst case scenario, I'm believing that, I don't, even though the media hype is, the owner's coming in with hands on and all this. I don't believe anything they say at all. My fear is it's exactly the opposite of what you're going to get, whatever they say. The Walton isn't going to be. He's the least likely. Yeah, okay, whatever. And then he buys the team. So my fear is that this is the Ford family just bought the Detroit Lions owner, just bought the Broncos. We're going to build great office parks. But as far as the team goes, what team? Do we have a team? Oh, John, just run it. Keep running it into the ground. Whatever. Just leave us alone. Just do whatever you got to do. That's my fear more than a Jerry Jones. Your take?
I completely agree with you. Like I said, I don't really know. It's a wait and see approach for me more than anything. I'm not gonna. I would fire Elway in a heartbeat. I know there's a process you got to go through, but I really want to get rid of Elway out of this organization because he has run this organization to the bottom of the abyss more than anything.
But he got Russell Wilson. But he got Joe Flacco too. But he got Case Keenum. And every one of them.
They got Teddy Bridgewater too. Yeah, exactly.
We were supposed to go to the playoffs, and there's like one video Bronco channel that said that wasn't going to happen. Could you tell me which one that was? Oh, it's us. Yeah, people that don't know anything, who don't get paid.
No, we don't get paid for this. But anyway, yeah, I have a fear it's going to be more of the Ford family, more of the more of that, where you have an owner who's like, oh, I have an NFL team. Oh, I'm just focused on building the parks around Mile High Stadium. Walmart Stadium at Mile High. Build a Walmart next to Denver Broncos Stadium. So, I mean, it's just wonderful that I have to sit here and hear that I'm the toxic fan, yet you people are the toxic fans because you just want to keep doing the same old shit that we have been doing for this past 7-8 years. So.
We got Russell Wilson. It'll be different this time. You wait. You'll see. You'll see.
I heard that last year too. So
and the year before that, I know.
It's the same verbiage, just different player, quarterback. Same verbiage, different quarter. Yeah, we're gonna go. Wow, we're gonna go 9-8. Yeah, that's what Pat Bowlen would have wanted. And I'm not saying that Rob Walton needs to be Pat Bowlen, but you could take a playbook out of Pat Bowlen. What he left here, he left some hints.
The Pat Bowlen blueprint, the Pat Bowlen boilerplate.
Yes. Don't be a Ford family. Don't be a Jerry Jones. Don't be a Dan Snyder. Don't be a Temper up in Carolina, the new one that bought the team 2 to 3 years ago. Don't be that. Actually just hold people accountable. That's all I want. I want to get rid of Elway. What I would do if I was owner is I would completely just get rid of everyone and just start for ground up, have a vision on scouting, bring in Adam Peters to help with that. Please, but it's not going to happen. I would bring in Adam Peters to help build that scouting department to what it used to be. And then
you're going to have to come up with a coach. You're going to have to come up with a coach philosophy.
But that's what you can have a vision with Adam Peters. Adam Peters will probably go with that West Coast zone run Kyle Shanahan offense. And then you could find identity in players on offense and defense and start building the offense and defensive lines. Please.
Yeah, that offense. Well, what is there such a thing as offensive? It's only quarterbacks and receivers. They all work in a package.
Actually, there is a thing of offense and defensive lines that are always in the Super Bowls kicking ass.
Well, that's what I see, and nobody else.
Matthew Stafford and Tom Brady to them. So. Yeah.
Well, you also have the legal situation Elway's under. I do believe Ellis is going to be out of here. I think that he has been pretty adamant about, hey, man, once this owner thing, I know well good enough to get out of here. And if this legal thing gets into a sticky situation, John Elway just may be gone by default. Like I said, all you need is one text that says we'll be late, and he's screwed. He's screwed. I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just saying if if that coaching candidate, if that coaching candidate comes up with
Brian Flores.
If Brian Flores comes up with a tweet that was produced, it says we're going to be late, they are SOL. And just for appearance reasons, Elway most likely would have to be out the door. And hopefully he's not like, running the same shit from, the planet Jupiter or something. So, as they claim he's doing now, which he's not. So, but the bottom line is it's accountability. We basically we're going to have to go through this season. That's the thing. Will 9-8 give Elway a lease on life, if they're even lucky enough to get that? I'm just hearing all this talk about Super Bowl, and I don't know what planet these people live on. I thought Russell Wilson, quite frankly, had more to work with, except maybe on the defensive side of the ball. It was a different story, but offensively, I thought Russell Wilson actually had more to work with than what he's got here. Player personnel to player personnel. So, and as we're seeing mini camp already, that this is a defense, as we said, I said it. It's a defense begging to be thrown on. No push up the middle. Unfortunately, the one guy they got from San Francisco is a lone man out on an island. So we didn't keep on that with that, that Malik Jackson state of mind. We decided to, or, the Tampa Bay Super Bowl, the Rams Super, we just don't want to, no, don't show me that. We just don't want anything to do with that mindset. I think quarterbacks are going to be able to do very well this year against the Denver Broncos. Gregory, yeah, the guy that you were pounding the table with all off season before it actually happened, right?
Yeah, and he hasn't practiced. Where is he?
Hey, I wouldn't have him practice either. I mean, I'm telling you, those shoulder injuries, that's going to probably nag him next year.
Yeah, but we're skipping the big issue. He's getting paid $70 million freaking dollars.
That's another thing the owners got to look at. We got to stop with the Gregory signings, the Malik Watson, Juwan James, and it just goes. Never ends.
Who we're still paying, by the way. We're still paying Juwan James.
Yes, and I'm not even thrilled with the Gordon pick payment. I just shouldn't have kept Lindsey.
I know. It's frustrating for me and you to look at this team and see what every bad decision and then the defense for that, because I did video on Draymond Jones and Malik Jackson, and I seem to wonder. I honestly think that these people believe their own bullshit. I mean, look at the 9-minute mark. Look at the 9-minute mark.
I did. You have no idea what you're talking about.
Do you not understand what I was trying to explain there? Because I honestly think that these people don't understand what I say, because my mind is in a different stratosphere than these people. Because they listen to Mile High Huddle, they listen to Dove Valley, they listen to 104.3 The Fan.
It's all Dove Valley.
I know, but it's a trickle effect down from there. You have to understand, when you talk about Juwan James, Randy Gregory, Malik Watson, Draymond, it's so bad. You had the money to pay Malik Jackson, and I did video on my YouTube channel the differences between Malik Jackson and Draymond Jones, and his night and day.
It's 180 degrees. Yeah. I like how first what you did for the first thing you did is you dispelled this whole double teaming. They couldn't. Obviously, the video, so they had to come up with something else. Oh, he's mining the gap. He's staying put to mine the gap. Well, he swung so far out that had Cleveland actually ran it his direction, it would have went for a huge play, because he was so out of place. And we've seen him get them run in his direction before. This isn't anything new.
Well, again, like this isn't anything new. You're correct. We have to, the whole double team myth with these people, it just, I subplain to that because you saw a play where Malik Jackson was owning two people against the Cincinnati Bengals. He's just going right at him. I can't even see Draymond Jones doing half of that or even doing that to begin with because he can't. He can't. He's not a 3-tech, 3-4 defensive lineman. Now, I also say in the video, okay, you do see some growth when he is a 5-tech and a 4-3. But again, is that something that we're running? No, we still have the same 3-4 principles. That's what Kareem Jackson said when he came out here, and that's what I believe we're running. But again, what are we running on defense? I think we're running a hybrid defense at the end of the day. But at the end of the day here, this is a correlation effect because John Elway wants to pay his players. And we were talking about this off air yesterday where it's the same old shit where we get rid of really good players for crap players and pay them a la Justin Simmons, a la Jawan James, a la Malik Watson, a la, Jarrell Casey.
On and on and on. Yeah. They get rid of the real and they sell you the fake every single time at Dove Valley. That's what's got to change with the new ownership. This is going to be it. There isn't going to be any more blame the coach, blame the quarterback. If this thing blows up, if this thing goes away, logically it should, because you don't have the player personnel that the media fake machine is saying you have. You got to clean house. You just got to do it. And I want to talk about Russell Wilson and this contract business. Now there's an owner. Okay. Honestly, what Russell Wilson should do is say, look, let's just get through this season first. Behind closed doors with the owner and the co-owner. This is not to go out to John Elway. First of all, keep John Elway out of this loop. But I'm Russell Wilson. This is what my take is. I was sold a bill of goods. I was told, like I said, let the season continue. I'm only one man, and one man can't make up for the glaring problems the Broncos have had season after that they refuse to address. Except how they address it is PR machines. Don't let your lying eyes tell you what you're saying. It's going to be a Super Bowl season. So Russell Wilson should say, don't put this on me. I didn't create this hype machine. I'm just here to do a job, but I can't do it when this that he's looking at the tape from last year, maybe 2 seasons even. He knows there's no bullshitting tape. He knows.
He's looking at the exact same tape I am.
Yeah. Yeah. When you've done offensive line critiques, breakdowns, all the breakdowns. And I challenge Seattle Seahawks fans who like Russell Wilson, who think, oh, he's getting a fresh start and is buying the hype. I said, you honestly break your game film down of your offensive line. You break our offensive line. You cannot come back with a straight face and say that this is the best offensive line that Russell Wilson has ever played behind. You can't do it with a straight face. Okay, sure, Kool-Aid drinkers. Yeah, sure, Kool-Aid drinkers will tell you anything. They'll tell you it's a top 5 offensive line. I mean, that's what they'll tell you. But that won't, again, like every year, going all the way back to Simeon. Okay, going all the way back to Simeon. Reality is going to hit this team a square in the face again. And if I'm Russell Wilson, I'm going behind closed doors and say, look, I'm here to do what you need to be done. But look, there was an article just put out recently, and Malahide Bubble was, that confused look on their, that deer in the headlight, when the analyst said, you put the cart in front of the horse with bringing in Russell Wilson. We already said that. We proved that, we went up through all the details. Then one of the top analysts actually looked, because I'm sure he looked at film, there's no doubt in my mind, and came to the same conclusion. Well, you're not ready to make any kind of play. I mean, Again, you go across the board just in our division alone and see, like Kansas City, what do? They get serious, and they don't get Metallic Watsons. They don't get Juwan. They get serious and get real ballers on the lines, at least the offensive line, and you know, Sandy. I'm going to say Sandy. The Chargers. So they take a look at all of that, and they think, well, this is what, and then they look at the receivers too. These receivers, and there's just, you know, another bubble put out. They're evolving. Yep, they're evolving in shorts. Playing against that defense, begging to be thrown on. That's the evolution.
Yeah,
they're going to have to learn. I don't, you know, this is the only way I can see the Broncos being successful offensively, to be honest with you, is maybe you do a little play action mixed in with a lot of run, but they're so inconsistent blocking with the run. That's going to be problematic, but they can't just go bombs away every play. It's going to have to be few and far between, and they're going to have to go for quicker, shorter, more high percentage passing, because these receivers cannot get to the second level. So it's going to have to be a quick read and get the ball out, because the offense. Well, I don't even know if the offensive. You know, I guess maybe it is an injustice. The offensive line is so bad that maybe this receiver core can't even get to the second level. They don't even have time to do that. So that's I got to take that into consideration too. And that goes back to the Seattle offensive. They were able to hold off the opposition. Hold off the opposition so those receivers could get to the second level. Go ahead.
There's one important ingredient that you're missing on that is what. Okay. I understand where you're coming from with the offensive line. I get that. Okay, and I think this is a good argument we can have. But when they did have time to throw, why were receivers stopping on routes? And
slowing it, yeah, yep.
Because if they're all-world receivers, the best route runners since college football, Jerry fucking Jeudy. If they were all these great route runners, why were they consistently stopping on routes? And I believe Russell Wilson is trying to coach that out of them, because why did he have him come to his house in Los Angeles and stuff to work on that type of stuff? Because
they were game filming.
What we saw on film. He saw what we saw. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, yeah, they were filming. They were game filming. They were in the film session. Absolutely. It was a total film session there. Yes. And I guarantee you they were showing what we're talking about. They were showing Seattle. You know, when I'm given this kind of time, you have to go to the second level. Even though it's not very often I'm given that, but you got to learn how to get to the second level.
Well, yeah. They got to learn on how to route run consistently and not stop on routes, because that is a big problem I have with these receivers. Jerry Jeudy is a prime example of that. You know, this hype around Jerry Jeudy is just, and now he's hurt. Shocker, has a groin injury. You know, is just, there's just so much negative. I'm not trying to be rude to the guy, but when you take a step back, it's like everything that this guy does turns to shit. There's no positive whatsoever that comes from Jerry Jeudy. And I'm not saying that about his character. I'm saying that as the football player. I'm saying that to say, well, when you look at Jerry Jeudy's production over the past 2 to 3 years, it hasn't matched up to a Justin Jefferson, a Chase Claypool, a CeeDee Lamb, guys like that were taken, you know, after Jerry Jeudy here. Okay. I mean, this guy, Jerry Jeudy, you should have drafted Tristan Wirfs. That was my guy.
Elway
was the typical Elway bullshit, and then they turned around and got KJ Hamler, who, so now Mile High Huddle is going to copy what we're saying that he's better in the slot. I've been saying that for about 5 to 6 months now.
And guess who was getting attacked? You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. Yeah.
The two people that actually watch the All-22 film and that actually do game film, that actually don't watch highlight reels on a consistent basis, Mile High Huddle. You say you do film. I'm not trying to attack them, but you say you do film and you don't do it. You show 2 clips. I actually go through a series. I break down, a la Draymond Jones, what the problem is and what he could be good at. You guys don't do that. You guys just pick out a great play that Russell Wilson did in Seattle. It's like, oh, he's going to do this on a consistent basis. And then you contradict yourself saying that you never said that. That's what I'm talking about, the misinformation toxicity that we need to get. The new owner needs to cut off. They need to cut that off. Go ahead. Sorry.
You do know Stafford is a shoe-in. Oh, wait. You do
Oh,
know that the Walmart connection is not going to happen, at least
Yeah.
likely to happen. You do know that, right?
Yeah. No validity to that whatsoever.
You do know that Russell Wilson just signed a contract, right?
Yeah.
Oh, what? Oh, wait. Oh, I must have got that from Mile High Bubble. That's right. All of it.
Wow.
Yeah, wow.
Well, that new owner needs to cut that toxic media off. They need to.
Yeah. I want to talk about that too. I would like to see the PR revenue being cut off, and
Yes.
that revenue stream going towards scouting. That's where I would like to see that go. Real scouting. Start making this. Don't get a bunch of you got a guy up there with an ego. We're gonna make my Justin Simmons top 5. Here, I'll pay you PFF. They had to have paid him. I don't even know where they got the There was no. I was trying to find PFF's justification. There was no justification for it. There was no explanation given.
Well, okay. So let's talk about that real quick, and then we can get back into this toxic media. We were talking about this a few weeks ago about the PFF. They're contradicting themselves, because one week they have him as the best safety in football, and then they have him in his top 5 as a consistent safety in the National Football League. And then the next week against, what was it, the Jets or whatever, he has like a 20-some grade. And then you have Bleacher Report saying
I think that was the Raiders, I think.
Oh, okay, the Raiders or whatever it was. And then you have Bleacher Report saying, oh yeah, this guy hasn't been living up to the contract, and they probably should.
It was even worse. They said he needs to be benched.
Yeah, that's what I was getting into. He should be benched. And then you talk about these, and then what Keyshawn Johnson says, he didn't really want to talk about the Broncos because of
the toxicity.
The toxicity that would head his way, just like what me and you've been going through for the past 2 years doing this together.
Yeah, because all we want to do is in a real way, improve this team.
Yes.
Yeah. These people are so confused. Because we've listened to this this is the 7th season of promises. With we can't see any what you've done tangible. Believe me, here's what the toxic crowd doesn't really understand. If me and you actually saw real development, player personnel, we really saw legitimate moves being made. We really, not just the quarterback, everything else. If we, and instead of paying all these 8 channels, 8 platforms to say the same thing, Super Bowl, Super playoff. What was it? What did Sandy Clough, the great, paid off Sandy Clough? What does he say? He says, well, look, they're all motivated. That's going to transform into, it's going to transform itself into playoffs. Okay, playoffs. Yeah, so their enthusiasm in shorts, like the last 6 years, is going to turn into playoffs. Look at the BS you guys said about Teddy Bridgewater, and we said Bridgewater cannot possibly do what you're saying with the player personnel around him, and that turned out in spades. And then Case Keenum, I said the same thing. I said you can't bring in Joe Flacco. They just can't stop making the same mistakes over and over and over. We're done with it. Like you said, the owners have got to start getting real. When this thing goes south, goes the way of the player personnel, the way we know, it's accountability, baby. Accountability from the very top. Now, John Elway, you got somebody looking over your shoulder this time with their money. Not just money you can just do with, and then let your ego go pay off a PR machine. Yeah, Justin Simmons, just tell he's top 5. And then at the end of, even PFF, at the very end of the season, said this guy was maybe above average safety. Their game-by-game grading system. It just, that's where we said he graded out. We were being generous.
Yeah, we were being generous. And again, when you talk about the team, they need to cut off the team revenue for these sports talk radio media outlets, because again, they need to be held accountable too, because they keep lying to the fan base, and they also need to stop putting out misinformation, because that is a part of this whole criteria of what I want this owner to do. Get rid of Elway. If this thing goes south, like me and you believe it will go, I want everyone in that organization to be held accountable. George
Absolutely,
Payton,
absolutely.
every single one in that organization accountable. And I want that team revenue to go to scouts like me, or I don't want to be a scout for the Denver Broncos. I really don't. I'm fine doing what I'm doing now. But again, I want this team to be held accountable. We get real scouts in here. Can we actually get a GM that actually understands player development, like an Adam fucking Peters? Because I pounding the table for them. I was pounding the table when they let him go in 2014, 2015, when I was like, you got to be kidding me. This guy was your best scout and your best player evaluator on that scouting department, and you just let him go because he went against the John Elway grain. And then you know what? Look at what happened ever since then. I'm telling you, yeah, it's been going downhill. Who do you think drafted Malik Jackson? Who do you think drafted Kayvon Webster? Who do you think drafted Danny Trevathan? Who do you think drafted all these great special teams?
Von Miller.
Yeah, it was all Adam Peters, but you know what? LA wanted to be the front man for it, so he got the front man
Jackson.
bullshit. Yeah, again, this is just, if this thing goes south, I want everyone in that organization to be held accountable.
Well, I think Russell Wilson needs to needs, again, behind closed doors. Say, look, I'm new like you. I'm new like you. I was sold a bill of goods. I've sold it, top five everything. Top five, everything. Because that's what Dove Valley's putting out. So when they brought Russell Wilson, when they sold, because he had look at the Philadelphia Eagles. They were in the running too. In my opinion, he would have done, I think, much better with the Eagles. However, his end game could be to go to the Giants. That's what, according to Seattle now, that's not me. Seattle said, the Seattle media said that was his number one choice. But they weren't going to give up the farm. Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, what is the okay. I could see a scenario being like this. I think you could see a scenario where Russell Wilson gets so pissed off at this organization, not at the new owners necessarily. I'm talking about people that sold him a bill of goods.
Sold him a bill of goods.
Re-signed with you guys. I want to go to a real organization in 2 years now. And I want to go to the New York Giants, and then you look at the New York Giants, okay, in a vacuum. They are doing things completely different from a player personnel side than what the Denver Broncos are doing. They're actually getting real on both sides of the ball. They brought in the Buffalo Bills tradition, Buffalo Bills criteria of how to build a team. I could see the New York Giants be like, no, just do your thing in Denver for 2 years, like we said, and you can come over here in about 2 years in 2024, and then we could take off with you. We have Daniel Jones in place. We'll build the team around him, and then you can come in after that, and we can, take off from there. I could see.
Well, that's not if Daniel Jones doesn't start taking off too.
That's very true. But if that happens, they're gonna have to pay him. They're gonna have to pay him a buttload of money. But again, you're gonna have to pay Russell Wilson too. So which person do you rather pay? Me personally, I think Daniel Jones would be asking a lot more cheaper money than a Russell Wilson would. I think Russell Wilson would ask a lot of money, but that's being optimistic at this point.
Well, if I'm Russell Wilson, I want to weigh out all my options in 2 years. I don't want to give it away. And you
go to Philadelphia too.
Well, what I'm saying is what I'm saying is that behind closed doors, I just would be real and say, look, I'm going to be sucking all this money. You obviously have needs that can't get addressed with my contract. So you'd be better off sending me somewhere so that you've lost all your draft picks until, that I'm assuming it's aligned with the Wilson 2 years, right?
Yes.
So when he goes, then they get their draft capital back and everything, correct? Yep. So that's the crossroad. 2 years is the crossroad. Is like,
well, Well, here's also the crossover. Me and you were talking about this off air too, where the Denver, and this is the perfect example of a desperate organization and the perfect example of an organization that doesn't know what they're doing. When you pay your whole entire draft capital for 2 years, and you also you get rid of a Drew Lock and a Noah Fant. Shelby Harris was never a big fan of him, and you're still paying him with that dead cap money. Another bad decision by Elway. And then, but okay, listen.
Really quick, I'll let you finish your point. But didn't we say not to sign Shelby Harris? Did we decide? Were we the ones that said don't do that? Okay,
go ahead. We're called the toxic fans, right? I know. But anyway, going back to what I was saying, the sign of a desperate organization, and I said this to you. I said the Denver Broncos were in a better position in the offseason this coming year than what they're now, because you got rid of your entire cap. You got rid of half of your cap space, okay, by getting Russell Wilson. So that it automatically cuts you in half. You weren't going to be able to pay a Sheldon Joseph Day. You weren't going to be able to get a Jayon Brown, because Jayon Brown was going to ask for a lot of money. You weren't going to get players like that can make a difference on the defensive side of the ball. And quite frankly, you weren't going to be able to get players on the offensive line. I understand where you're going to go. I understand where you're going to go with this about the Malik Jackson point, if that's what you're saying.
No.
Okay, go ahead.
No. What I'm going to say is that's exactly opposite of what the Rams did. The Rams built everything up, and then they went out and got their Joseph Day and the other guys.
Well, no, they went out and got Matthew Stafford after.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. That's the gist of it, yes.
The Broncos did the opposite, where they put the cart in front of the horse, and then, I mean, it's not rocket science. They put the cart in front of the horse, and then they had to overpay for Randy Gregory. They had to overpay for Kwan. Again, these players that don't make any sense from a player personnel schematic standpoint. Okay, you got rid of Kenny Young. You moved Baron Browning outside. You're continuing this bullshit where I have to sit here and defend these players, which I shouldn't be doing. I shouldn't be defending a Baron Browning, because his play speaks for itself playing inside linebacker. He could say he's been wanting to play outside linebacker all he wants, but I know damn well, and other scouts know damn well, that he's a better inside linebacker than outside linebacker. We know damn well, and you do too. So don't sit here and say that, he wanted to be outside. Okay, well, if he wanted to be outside so bad, then why didn't he ask for it last year?
This brings me to the defensive philosophy. Fangio put you where you were best. You know what? We're going to let the players have the say now. We're going to this is where we're at now. We're not going to do what's right. We're going to
run the asylum. Yep.
Yeah. It's coaching reimagined. Players get to dictate to where they want to go, what they want to do. We'll just see how that works out for you.
Yeah, because for all the people that gave Vic Fangio shit, he was the reason why he kept us in games in 2021.
Eventually he did.
Well, again, let me explain to this from a player personnel standpoint. He was working with chicken shit, and he was still able to get the best out of those players to some degree.
Well, he didn't shore the middle up, because the Ravens, the Raiders game, he didn't get the middle shored up until he put Browning out there until that, and then
he tried to. He tried to with Zaven Collins, Devin Bush.
Yes. He
tried. And Elway was like, nope, we're going to go with a receiver. Nope, we're going to go with the tight end. And then you got rid of the tight end.
And now the Dulcich are already talking about making him a blocking tight end. You just can't make this stuff up. But how many shows did we do? Where we talked the difference between Chicago's player personnel on defense and the Broncos, and that Fangio was hands were tied as far as player personnel is concerned? Well,
okay, so, and I got to explain this again. Akeem Hicks, Eddie Goldman, Roy Robertson Harris, Leal Nichols, Roquan Smith, Khalil Mack, Danny Trevathan, Leonard Floyd, Prince Amukamara, Bryce Callahan playing in stock, Kyle Fuller when he was in his prime playing outside, Eddie Jackson and Adrian Amos. And people do not remember People refuse to remember this. I remember when they were trying to go after two players that I wanted, DJ Reader and Adrian Amos. Do you know why DJ Reader wanted to go to Cincinnati? Do you know the real reason why? It's not because of the money. It's because that was more of a stable organization at the time than the Denver Broncos are. And
Yeah, where did he go? Where did he go?
Cincinnati Bengals.
Well, yeah. And did he see something? Where did the Cincinnati Bengals go last year?
They went to the Super Bowl after
they went to the Super Bowl. Who would have thunk it? Well, Reader must have saw something.
He must have saw that defense forming. You understand? They have a DJ Reader, a Trey Hendrickson, a Chuba Hubbard, Logan Wilson, Akeem Davis Gaither, Prait from I can't think of these names, from NC State, Von Bell, Jesse Bates. I mean, their defense is loaded, and he saw that, and then he looked at Denver and he's like, no, this team isn't even close to what Cincinnati's building.
I got a conspiracy theory for you. I have a feeling Vic Fangio's on the phone. Vic Fangio's on the phone saying, look, I probably only have 1 year here. This is it. With this player personnel, we ain't going to go.
Yeah.
You'd be better off. Take the Cincinnati road. Maybe I'll see you there in a couple of years.
well, again, that could be something that he could have done. And I think he did the same thing with Amos too, because he knew Amos very well up in Chicago, and he's like, "You really want to play next to Justin Simmons? He's going to make you look bad."
Or they're not going to let you. Justin Simmons is going to do. He's going to get to determine what he wants to do. You take a back seat to what.
Honestly, and this might be also another conspiracy theory of mine, and people, I don't really care. I think he wanted Adrian Amos over Justin Simmons. I think he wanted to pay Adrian Amos and let Justin Simmons walk when that contract.
That's what we wanted that too. I know, but you can't get that. No, you got a bunch of excuse makers. Well, I like to hear their excuses now. Why is Justin Simmons getting beat yet again in shorts in practice? And we just never ends with this guy.
He's your highest paid defensive player, and he's getting beat over the top. That should not happen from your best defensive player.
Makes perfect Elway sense to me.
Yeah. I'm telling you guys right now, this defense, like this man said, and has been saying for 3 to 5 months now, this defense is begging to be thrown on. And I would not be surprised, and me and you talked about this off air, Drew Lock and Noah Fant are going to have field days. If Drew Lock wins the starting job up there in Seattle, Noah Fant's going to be licking his freaking chops going against Jonas Griffith, Alex Singleton, Josie Jewell, Justin Sternad.
You put the other quarterback in there. You put the other
Geno Smith too.
Smith. Either or. Yeah.
And it's not going to be just Seattle. There's even the Texans, the Colts, the Niners, the Raiders, the Jets. It's going to be a field day. It's going to be a field day. And we saw us play the Jaguars last year. Did we get any pressure on the quarterback?
Zero.
With Doug Peterson running that system now, their offensive line intact. And if Trevor Lawrence doesn't do his Drew Bledsoe moment, good Lord. Good Lord.
Hey, I'm an equal opportunity critic because I was watching the film like, what is this guy doing? It looks like junior high school. The coach's son wanting to play quarterback. So this doesn't look like the Trevor Lawrence I saw back in college. This is bad.
Well, I think that had more to do with the organizations he is in more than anything. I think Urban Meyer was just oh my God, he was awful as a NFL head coach. Great as a college coach, I'll give him his due, but NFL coach, when you're having your quarterback throw it 50 plus times a game, that's when you're gonna have him Sam Darnold-esque.
Well, that's where we go to the Broncos. How fast are they gonna knee jerk out of running and go right into throw? How many times is that gonna happen?
I would probably give it till week 4 or 5 when they face the real teams like San Francisco and the Colts and the Raiders. Those 3 teams right there, I think that's when they're going to knee jerk. and be like, oh yeah, because the first 4 games they were freaking doing it, running the football, play action pass, doing the same thing, and then once they face the real teams, they're like, oh no, we gotta match what they're doing. We gotta match.
I think you're wrong. I'm thinking week 1 they're going to get into that. Week 1 they're going to feel they're going to have to start throwing the ball.
Seattle defense, you're going to be able to run on them because they got rid of Bobby Wagner. They have Jamal Adams, who I think is a better safety than Justin Simmons. I love Jamal Adams. I just think they overpaid for him at the time. I think Jamal Adams is a hell. He's your prototypical Cam Chancellor, TJ Ward, move him down to the box. But again,
you haven't entered in the X factor in all this. Elway and his ego. What is it? Elway wants to.
You might be right. Might be right. I'm just thinking about it at a player personnel standpoint.
Well, no, you're thinking about like a logical person would think. I'm telling you, this organization. There's no logic here.
But we have the Seattle fan that said what we're saying too. If you have to throw it 40 plus times a game and you do not have him rely on that running game, play action pass, stick in the pocket, because this myth out there also, I want to talk about this myth. This myth also where they're saying that he is a run around in the backfield.
Tarkington.
Yeah, he's not. He is your prototypical, likes to stay in the pocket, likes the stability in front of him. And you really think, and here we go again, you really think in front of Lloyd Cushenberry and Garrett Bowles protecting your left-hand side and past his prime Billy Turner on the other side and outside of a Quentin Miners on the interior, you're going to be comfortable in that offensive line? When we saw them get quarterbacks killed for 7 years now.
You may be able to somewhat look respectable against the Seattle defensive line. Maybe the Texans defensive line.
When you get to the 49ers, the Colts, and the Raiders, or the Chargers, woo! Oh, man.
That's what I'm saying. Week 1, they're going to want to throw that ball like, yeah. I'm Elway. I got a point to prove. I'm going to show them.
You might be right. I think that's something that I could see Elway trying to do, because what did we see under Bridgewater?
The coach really is.
Yeah, I know. You're going to take what Nathaniel Hackett says seriously? What's going to again? And I said he was a souped-up version of Vance Joseph. I got so much shit for that. He's doing the exact same thing Vance Joseph did.
Leader of men. Yeah, he lets them listen to music. It's let the players decide what they're going to run. Russell Wilson, we gave you everything. It's all you. So
what's going to happen when you lose to the 49ers and the Colts, for example? You lose 2 games straight in a row. What's going to happen? Is that team going to be as fired up as they were the first 3 weeks of the season?
What's going to happen if they lose to Seattle right off the bat?
Oh, God. Oh, it's all Russell Wilson's fault. You're going to have it's going to be the start. And they're already doing it at KOA, like you said. They're already setting up Russell Wilson. And I believe that is what Russell Wilson's going to talk to the new owner about. You need to cut off this media. They sold me a bill of goods. They're throwing me out to the wolves. It's not my fault. It's the organization's fault for not supporting me in the way.
I'm one player. Look. I'm new like you. I was sold a bill of goods. I don't play defense. They're throwing on this defense like right and left.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am, I'm just one man here.
Well, me and you know, it's like a chronicle, like your channel's a chronicle. We already know what's going to happen. I mean, really. I mean, you look at this player personnel, it is, I think they got worse on the defensive side of the ball than they were last year.
Well, they tore it down.
Yeah, they tore it down. And then offensively, what'd you do? Okay, you got Russell Wilson. Cool. Okay, cool. You got Teddy Bridgewater last year. You said we're going to the playoffs to get Aaron Rodgers. That was your game plan, LA, was to get Rodgers all along.
See, we went to the playoffs. See, we got player personnel. See. Didn't happen. It went the way we said it was going to go. We don't get paid.
Yeah, we don't get paid for this. And then, so now you take a step back. You drafted a tight end, Greg Dulcich, who wasn't even a top 5 tight end on my draft board. And even it's just like the Patrick Surtain or Sean Slater pick from the NFL media last year. The top guys, they're like, what? They're like looking at us like, why didn't you draft Slater? I think they were doing the same thing with Dulcich. Why did you draft Dulcich? You could have got him in the 4th or 5th round.
This is my Surtain pick. I'm giving Elway that one, but I'm not really giving it. But I'm not really giving him anything because you're right.
Again, you're putting the cart in front of the horse.
Yeah. I'm not giving him anything because you did need somebody there. That's true. I'll go there.
Yeah.
You needed linebacking. You needed an offensive lineman, more than one, by the way. Defensive lineman, other than edges, by the way. You know, interior guys, what you really needed, but you really need safety.
Why again? Again, this is good to talk about right here. You understand that the front seven makes the whole and back entire end, and you played football in high school. It made you guys look good. It's just like the Rams and the Buccaneers. It makes those back end players look good, like a Nikita Talib, a Chris Harris, a Bradley Roby, T.J. Ward, a Darian Stewart, a Dane Trevathan, and a Brandon Marshall.
Yeah.
They understood what that defensive line meant to them.
Without them, there's no us. Without them, there's no us.
They even said it in interviews, okay?
Von Miller did.
Yes, absolutely. You need that. Why couldn't you just draft a Travis Jones? Why didn't you just, again, draft a Travis Jones, draft a Rashawn Slater, draft a Tristan Wirfs? Could you imagine your bookend tackles being a Tristan Wirfs on Rashawn Slater and Creed Humphrey at center?
I know they want to talk about Russell Wilson. They gave him they didn't give him. They gave him Simeon's line. You know, they gave him Case Keenum's line. They gave him, Bridgewater's line, Drew Lock's line. I mean, it just.
Well, it is basically, you're right. It's basically Bridgewater's line outside the right tackle position. It's the same exact group.
Yeah. Russell Wilson knows this.
And for the people say that we improved the offensive line, that's not improving. When you have 4 out of the 5 guys that you got, that's not improving. You needed to get better at center. You needed to get better at left guard. Although I want to give Reisner the benefit of the doubt but honestly, I think he is hampered by so much bad development that he's just going to continue to do the same thing. Quentin Miners, there was talk that you're trying to trade him from what this guy's telling me. I'm just like, oh my God. You want to keep Graham Glasgow, right? Graham Glasgow, Ron Leary 2.0. That's another bad decision Elway did. Me and you said, bad decision, Ron Leary 2.0. And look what's happened. He's been hurt every single year in Denver, every year.
And he has a heart condition that's recently popped up last year. So
why do you think the Lions let him go and kept Frank Ragnow? Gave Frank Ragnow what Graham Glasgow was asking. Because Frank Ragnow is a much better player than Graham Glasgow. I'm sorry to admit it, people.
And we don't have that mentality here. We can't get the Zimmermans anymore. We can't get the Malik Jacksons anymore. It just, what we can do now is just make excuses. Draymond Jones, just excuse make away. Well, I'm going to tell you, that play you said proves he doesn't know what he's talking about. Had the Cleveland Browns ran at Draymond Jones instead of going the other way, it would have been a much, much bigger play because he got himself so far out of the gap assignment you're claiming. It would have been an easy, at least 20 yards, easy.
And also on that play, what did I say he needed to do? He needed to go inside, but instead he went it outside.
I mean, he was like going to the I was going to say the bleachers. Yeah, he was going towards the bleachers.
And look how that offensive line handled him too. You're not talking about that. He handled him like a ragdoll. And then I also did film on Draymond Jones where if you watch, I believe you watched it, where on the goal line play, he's just holding him out with one hand.
That would be a Raider offensive line. And according to everybody locally here and outside, Raider fans, even that's their Achilles heels, their offensive line. So just saying.
I mean, their offensive line looked pretty damn good against our shitty D line. So.
Yeah, and unfortunately.
Also, one more thing. The Raiders did the opposite too, where they tore down their offensive line. You remember guys like Kelechi Osemele, Rodney Houston, Donald Penn, guys like that kicked our ass under Flacco. They were running on our ass. And I remember Kelechi Osemele against guys like, Shelby. They would just get absolutely obliterated. I mean, Kelechi Osemele was one of the best guards in football when healthy. I loved Kelechi Osemele. I think that was a great pickup. He came over from the Ravens. Oh, my God. That guy was a beast, okay, in that interior. Him and Rodney Houston together were one of the best guards.
That's an organization that gets it. The
Well, yeah, saying that, but I think they got it now with that Patriot system. I'm going to give Josh McDaniels the benefit of the doubt. He got his quarterback, Derek Carr. I think he's the perfect Josh McDaniels quarterback. That's why they're not trading him. They're building the team around him. That defensive line for the Raiders, look out, because they actually have a 3-4 system now with Chandler Jones, who everyone was talking about above Randy Gregory.
Well, he wouldn't come here.
Well, no, but again, I'm talking about the Denver Bronco people. They said that they wanted Randy Gregory all along, but you guys were talking about Von Miller and Chandler Jones 24-7 before that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to make a point about players not wanting to come here.
Yeah.
I believe that what that player on the Cody Rourke show said has got out to the players around the league and the Denver Broncos.
I agree.
I think that I think Elway. I don't think anybody wants to play with Elway lurking. I really don't. I think there's unspoken things going on, and it's I just don't think this is a destination. Now you could argue and say Russell Wilson. I mean that'll be the big Russell Wilson. That jury is still okay. He did come, right. But he was sold a bill of goods too. The jury isn't out on that either.
You were talking about, sorry to interrupt you. You were talking about that press conference, and he's like, "You sure you want to do this?" He was like, "Oh yeah, I want to go to Denver. Get rid of me." No, he was like, "Are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure you want to do this?"
It's Russell Wilson to the front office of Seattle.
Yes.
Are you sure? Are you absolutely sure this is what you want to do? You're sure. You're absolutely sure. It wasn't Russell Wilson like banging, "Oh, let me out of here. I want to go to Denver so bad." Seattle Press says number one choice was the New York Giants. He wanted to go to New York for whatever reason. Okay, that's his. They all said number two choice was the New Orleans Saints. Number two choice. So the Broncos were not the number one choice on this man's list. And I think that's also it's, again, talking with the owner, hey, look, I'm only one guy. You've got issues here that need to be resolved. This conversation between us, I don't want Elway a part of it. This is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing this on film. Before I sign anything, we'll go from there. I'm not going to say Russell Wilson is or isn't going to sign. I'm just saying there has to be a conversation at the very top, behind closed doors, with Elway, Peyton, everybody out of the loop. Because you're talking a lot of money either way. It's going to be a lot of money. So if I'm going to, you're definitely going to listen to what I have to say. If you're going to be paying out of your pocket, Elway somebody else's pocket, but out of your pocket, I'm sure you're going to want to listen to me.
Well, again, I think this goes to the correlation of what we said about Cody Rourke's interview with that one former player. It's the same thing that happened this past offseason. Where was the flock of free agents that STR and Dove Valley was claiming that they would come here? And they didn't. They didn't. Okay? I'm sure they tried to go get a Sheldon Joseday, but Sheldon Joseday decided to go to a much better situation in Los Angeles. I'm sure that they tried to go after a Bobby Wagner, an overrated, over-the-hill Bobby Wagner, my apologies, and they didn't get him. So, you guys, you got to look at it from a micro perspective point of view when you look at the entire football league. There are three better teams in our division right now. That is Kansas City, Chargers, and Raiders. I will put the Raiders above the Broncos because they actually went to the playoffs with a rookie head coach.
Well, they beat the Broncos twice. Let's not forget that. 2 times, not once, 2 times. And they gave them a shellacking the first time.
Did the Chiefs beat us twice, too? For the 7th year in the row?
Now, they did split with the Chargers, but the Chargers have greatly upgraded since that split.
Chargers were just like Philadelphia. They started off the season rough, and then they took off after that. They were just like Philadelphia. I'm telling you, Philly and the Chargers got better. They got better. The Chargers immensely got better. They went after a man-to-man corner, J.C. Jackson. You know, you have your typical, you know, long-lost cousin with Al Davis, Wanu saying that was a terrible pickup. I don't know what you're watching. You must be playing too much Madden. But, again, guys like that, Sheldon Joseph Day, you had to calm me down because I was so pissed that he went to the Chargers instead of Denver. And then Khalil Mack,
Elway had no interest in him.
I wish if I was running that team, man, this team will look completely different. Me and you running this team, it would
perform completely different.
It wouldn't. No, perform, yes, but player personnel, treating players with respect, actually having a family culture environment. You know, going by what Pat Bowlen's blueprint was, and also bringing in some of that Ravens, Steelers, cheat type culture, Bills. This team will look completely different. Okay, we'd actually have We'd have interior.
We need to pay a PR firm 8 separate channels trying to hype up players who just can't cut the mustard. A player personnel group that can't cut the mustard. Because, you know, look, it all comes down to this. PR will only take you so far. As soon as the real season begins, these other players start going against this player personnel, they're yet again exposed as just being a bunch of hot air bullshit. And, you know, that's going to be it. And I think that's going to really divide fans, guys. I think there's going to be a group of fans that's sick of this. Will be the last straw. You're going to be sick of being lied to, sick of being bullshitted. And we're going to storm the castle and say, look, you've had 7 years of this. Something's got to give. You're a new owner. Clean the house.
Get
the house in order.
This is something that does worry me about this ownership. Too many heads in the kitchen. Too many talking in the kitchen. Too much talking in the kitchen. My apologies.
Let me go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Let me give you the model here. They're going to try to run this like a Walmart. That's why the other co-owner is really a shotgun. So they're going to run it like the board, where the Walton heir has the final say, but the board is doing whatever the board does. Yeah. So this isn't a Pat Bowlen. This has nothing to do with a Pat Bowlen. This is going to be run like a Walmart board because that's all they know what to do. They don't know anything else. They don't know how to run it like Pat Bowlen. That's totally out of their wheelhouse.
I'm not saying that they need to be a Pat Bowlen, but
I do. I want him to be Pat Bowlen.
Well, okay, hold on. There's not going to be another Pat Bowlen out there.
No.
But there can be steps to the blueprint that he left that can lead him to eventually be somewhat of a Pat Bowlen resemblance. But we're not going to get that, and that's why you know what? I think you're absolutely right. And I think I kind of overshot it last night with my own solo video being a Stan Snyder, Jerry Jones. I was thinking about billionaires. I got all this money that kind of do whatever the fuck they want. I think you're right. I think it's going to be more of a Ford situation than those two owners.
I don't know 100%, but I mean, I would lean further that way.
About something that I was afraid was going to happen here. When you don't have one majority owner, when you have too many cooks in the kitchen trying to start shit, again, that's what me and you have been clamoring not to do for ever since we did this together. We want one single majority owner that doesn't have to be a meddler, but can hold people accountable. You think the Walmart board's going to do that? You think Rob Walton's going to even care?
They're not. I'm not saying they won't, but I'm just saying the way they're going to run this is that the shotgun owner is like the CFO. He's going to
that though.
He's going to be the one more involved. The actual owner is going to get his intelligence from and his input from that part of the ownership. I'm telling you, that's how the board works.
This isn't Walmart. This is an NFL team.
You know that, and I know that, but that's not the way they know. They don't know how to run an NFL team. They know how to run Walmart. So
I'm just
telling you, The owner is going to get his co-owner is going to be there doing the more hands-on stuff. The owner is going to, obviously he's seeing, right, but still he's relying on the shotgun co-owner.
Okay.
Be the one majority involved
Okay.
is going to be him.
Hold on. You talk about that, and I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying that, but does Robert Kraft do that? Does the Hunts do that? Does the Rooneys do that? Do the Ravens people do that? No. Again, we're going back to the same bullshit. Now that I think about it more, and now that I think what possibly might happen with this co-ownership, this is the worst thing that could have happened, because John Elway can do whatever the fuck he wants. You know damn well that he can try.
Yeah, but there's going to be that could be in the short run, yeah, in the short run. But the bottom line is he's still going to be held accountable at the end of the day.
I don't think so. Well, okay, hold on 1 second. Let me backtrack on that statement. I said, you said, and they're Walmart people, so they don't know football, right? So they're probably going to take what John Elway says and run with it, right?
Yes, I will agree. Yes, in the beginning, but that doesn't mean that Elway can't be a sacrificial lamb down the road.
But I don't even. 2-3 years from now, when is that though?
No. If this thing backfires, I don't even see Elway hanging around, because he knows the writing's on the wall. He knows. I'm telling you, if this backfires, Elway most likely will step down, because he knows eventually the other guys aren't going to go anywhere. Somebody's head's got to roll. It's the way it is.
I would have loved to see at least somewhat of a football mind in that ownership group.
Yes, you're right. You're spot on. This is not Kraft. This is not Hunt. This is they're going to run it like a Walmart. The CFO and the owner, the CFO, all that, the majority owner is the shareholder. He's the shareholder. And the CFO is the liaison between the owner and the GM.
Yeah.
That's what you're going to get between because there's two owners. And just do the research on the other owner.
I did. I did the research on both owners. That's why
you see it. Did you read his part in the Walmart, in the whole Walmart?
Yes. Yes.
Exactly. I see his part with the Broncos.
Great.
I mean, that should just be that should be a common sense thing. I mean,
well, I know it's a common sense thing, but you know what? At least I would have kind of held out hope that this thing would actually be run properly, like any other Super Bowl. Or I'm just frustrated at now that you say it, and now that I put my dots and we combine them together, it makes more sense that it's going to be run like a Walmart, and that's what pisses me off more than anything.
The only bit of hope we may have that it doesn't turn out worse than Ford is that the actual owner, the majority owner, he's the one that's going to sit in with all the other owners, and hopefully he'll learn something from the Hunts. Hopefully he'll learn something from the Kraft. He'll learn, and other than hopefully he'll not be a creep, but learn something from these other better owners.
So okay. Do you think this is like a Jeff Bezos type of deal?
Kind of. Yeah.
Okay.
It's all going to depend on.
I'm sorry, that's not what I wanted to hear. But go ahead.
Well, I mean, I can't. It is what it is. I know. It's just like I got to tell you, just like I tell Kool-Aid drinking Bronco fans, like Draymond Jones is not all that. Okay.
I know.
I'm just telling you like it is. I don't know what it means right now. I don't know what this will mean. How it's all I know is I can see I can already see the groundwork. I can see.
You're right. I think you're right. I think it's Walmart. I think it's Walmart type of. It's Walmart CEO type of crap. It's the same old fucking shit.
Well, okay. Right now, that's all they know. Okay. This is the thing.
Too many owners. I mean, come on.
That's all they know. They know how to run a Walmart. That's all I'm saying. And you look at, I'm just looking who they brought in, how they run, and they even, I'm just telling you, You're going to see this. But is there going to be an evolutionary process? That's where they'll evolve, not the direction Ford went into, but maybe more in a direction Kraft is, Hunt is.
Is that evolution process bringing in Peyton Manning and being another John Elway?
Again, anything the sports media up Denver, I don't believe anything they say. They can't get anything right. They project. And God only knows. Dove Valley may be just putting that garbage out there too. And like I said, you don't know anything until it actually happens or it doesn't happen.
Yeah, but this is the worst case scenario, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, it could even, it could go into.
So now, because me and you did not want Jeff Bezos whatsoever because of what he would think about more than just the NFL team. When I read into this Walmart situation about Rob Walton and the other shotgun owners, again, I didn't want two owners. I wanted a single majority owner, which again, you got to think about it. Yeah, Walton is going to be the owner. He's going to be the single owner who's going to, final say. But again, what I'm saying is when you have too many cooks in the kitchen, things can be misconstrued and you don't get down to the real source. And you're relying on those people more on judgment than your judgment. Okay, John Elway is this, that, and the third. Or George Payton isn't getting the job done. But then you have people that say, well, I think we should give him another year or two. You're continuing that same old process of prolonging the inevitable.
Yeah.
And the same old shit. That's what I'm saying. That's where I get concerned.
Yeah, this organization may not even be legitimate for 10 more years. It's possible. But then again, stranger things have happened. If this thing goes south, the owners may look at each other and say, we got to make changes, the way we see they need to be made, and God only knows what that is, So
like I said, it's a wait and see approach for both of us. We've been waiting for this day to come. Me and you have been waiting for this day. Is it what I would have wanted to see the Walmart guy get it? No, there are other guys that I think that were more qualified to be owners. And personally, I would have liked the Smith guy, the black guy in Denver, or you would have liked the guy from what's his face? Who did you want to be the next owner?
I wanted Beth Bolin Wallace.
Yeah, Beth Bolin.
I wanted Beth Bolin Wallace. She didn't have the money.
Well, Beth Wallace would have got the job done. But again,
she would have been just the owner you're talking about. She would have been the boilerplate of Pat Bolin all the way.
Oh,
not Brittany. Brittany is an empty corporate suit, but I think Pat Bolin Wallace, older and more wise, I think it fits. But that was never good. We both knew that was never going to happen.
No, it wasn't going to happen.
I do want to say there is a difference between Bezos and this guy here, this Walmart guy. I honestly believe Bezos wouldn't bring in a counter or his CFO or anything. I don't think that would have ever happened. It would have been strictly him and strictly him only. This is a little bit different.
Okay.
Yeah,
let me ask you this. And you, like I said, I knew Pat Bolin, but you knew him in his heyday where he was building to be a great owner in the league.
I remember Pat Bolin coming to the team and
okay. Let me ask you this. Was there any type of what the Walmart situation was when he got more integrated into the system? Not right away, because it was different back in that time, but when it got more integrated, let's say early 2000s or mid 90s, did he have anybody like a CFO? I'm asking you this question.
No.
That is what I'm saying.
No, he's not Bolin. He's not Hunt. He's not. No.
I know not that. I know. I'm just saying, from a single majority owner, you would not have a fucking CFO on your left hand side and many cooks in the kitchen here. That's where I'm concerned.
No. Your concern is valid. Yeah, you're right. The CFO. That's your Brittany. That's your Brittany.
Wonderful.
The concept is similar, but obviously it's like, no, honey, you're not. I'm going to take over this. I run Walmart.
But Rob Walton is going to be the final say. So is he going to be a guy that kind of goes against the grain? I don't know. I don't know.
We're in uncharted territory. Here, let me give you an example of what we got here. I'm Walton. I'm Mr. Walmart. You are my CFO. You're my co-host. So I say, look, Colby, I trust you. You go, you're the boots on the ground. You're going to have your hands in this. I'm going to keep doing what I do as an owner for Walmart, kind of, so to speak. You do what you do at Walmart, your hands-on stuff, whatever that means, however they define that in their own. So, and then what you do is you come back, you report to me, blah, 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 whatever that is. And then I kind of give some input, blah, blah, blah. That's the kind of deal. Yeah, you're right. This is uncharted territory here.
Right.
Oddly enough, it's almost kind of what Dove Valley wanted to do with Brittany. They have John Elway running it, of course, in their ideal world. And
Yeah.
Brittany would be the empty suit. Yes, Mr. Elway. I don't think it's going to be quite like that, but I think that the guy playing your part, hands on. I think that's going to really be who's getting their hands dirty and their feet wet and stuff like this. It's not going to be
Penner.
Yeah, that guy's yes, it'll be him.
Penner is his name, I think.
Penner, yeah, it's going to be Penner. But Walton, Walmart, he's going to be just listening, maybe suggest, listen. I do what my guy tells. I rely on my guy. That's I believe the world we're going to be living in.
Wonderful.
Oh yeah. Well, just as long as they give us shopping malls, sport business complexes.
Probably get a new stadium too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because we're going to bring the Pro Bowl here, or not the Pro Bowl. Well, it could be if it's indoor.
The Super Bowl.
Yeah. We'll have the Super Bowl here. We won't be in it, but don't worry about that.
Whatever. I think where the stadium is a perfect place. I like where it's at. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. There's going to be renovations you need to do. But building a new fucking stadium, how about you actually get this team properly fucking functioning first before you think about getting a new stadium?
And I don't know if Walmart, he's got to work with other owners, though.
Like I said, I want to give the Walmart guy and Penner a benefit of the doubt. I do. Yeah. Globalist. Yeah. I want to give those guys a benefit of the doubt. But again, it's a wait and see approach for me. I'm just concerned that there's too many cooks in the kitchen that me and you are worried about. That's all. That's all I'm worried about. That's it.
It's gonna be very interesting, is all I can say. Well, anything else?
Nope.
I must ramble on, as the group Led Zeppelin would say. I got a daughter getting ready to go, and I got to make sure she's taken care of.
All right. Have fun in your basement.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Mom, I'll empty out the trash. Just hang on a minute. Oh, yeah. I'll see you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.